flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Here. I'm here. Mr. Morrow, recording secretary. Chief clerk. Here. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Are we here? For comment, it's open if you'd like to make one. Otherwise, I believe we're headed to the proclamations and things next. Does anybody have anything they want to say at this point? Yes.
All right, I'm Lonnie Joe. Y'all know that I'm not real in favor of fracking. I'm especially not in favor of fracking at the headwaters of Three Rivers. It's hard to have faith in our local representatives when, or even our federal. I mean, this is not directed only at the local politicians. There needs to be more transparency. There needs to be more honesty. For someone to come to a meeting and state untrue facts to the public is faith denying. It makes us lose faith in the veracity of what we're hearing. The highway to the stars, that Route 44, which I live on, is not the highway to the stars, it's the highway to hell. The fracking trucks come down there. It's an unsafe speed limit. When I brought this up at a township meeting, I was told, well, we can't do anything about that. But I'm sorry, 45 miles an hour is a safe speed perhaps for private vehicles coming down that twisty road, but it is not a safe speed for those trucks, especially you get two side by side. Come on. One of those rolls over with radioactive waste in it into Mill Creek, we're all sunk. That's one thing I wanted to bring up. I don't know why the speed limit can't be downsized for that purpose. I don't know why we're fracking the headwaters of Three Rivers. I believe it's time for this community to stop catering to the fracking industry. Without ever drilling another well, we have enough natural gas either already up or through the wells that already exist to provide our communities, our state, with fossil fuel until we can switch over to clean and green, which is what I think this community needs to do. Instead of spending so much time and effort kissing the butts of the fracking industry, we need to explore other alternatives. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I hope you act on it.
Well, we certainly will think about
You
it.
act on it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes?
Yeah, I also wanted to speak.
Okay.
I'm Georgiana DiCarlo. I agree with Lonnie Joe. I don't like the direction that our community is in right now. And it was because of the proposed fracking facility that I became aware of really where politics have been. Like a lot of the people that I know, I just kind of became uninvolved with politics because I felt like what I had to say just didn't matter. And I wasn't politically networked into the community. And now I realize that it's important for us all to start attending meetings, to make people be accountable for the positions that they're in. And if we disagree with the development of our community, to step forward and say, we don't like where it's going. And that's what I'm doing right now. I agree with Lonnie Joe. I don't think that we have the options to present alternative energies into this community because it's too embedded in fracking and oil and gas. So I would like to see, and I'm working on ways to get that in here and to show people that it doesn't need to threaten their employment and our economic base to do something different, to make our way into that. The problem is that when it's already here, it's a competition against alternative energies. You can't really have both. You know, that's what shocked me about the frac facility going in there, was I was always under the impression that tourism was such a main industry for this community, and that people were being encouraged to invest in businesses and properties with the idea to keep this area pristine. We had a lot of oversight from DEP whenever we build anything. The forestry, the agriculture, everybody around here deals with DEP as an agency that invests every effort into the minute details of a plan. So I was really shocked to learn that that same strategy is not happening at fracking wellheads. There was just a lot of naivety on my part. I assumed that they were also being scrutinized as closely, and they're not. So
They
now
are.
that I know that they're not.
Yes, they are. In fact, Pennsylvania has some of
It's
the
against
highest standards in the nation for natural gas
Can I finish
development.
speaking? And I do have some questions for you personally also. But I'm not speaking out of naivety. I've actually talked with DEP, and I've talked with lots of people about why we would have the impression that something so basic like the monitoring of radioactive waste coming out of a facility was happening. I would have assumed that that was happening. I didn't even think that anybody would need to say, we need to put radiation monitors on there. That's how obtuse I was about it. Okay, well then you learn from the DEP agents themselves, they'll tell you, we can only enforce what the guidelines are. And they got changed years ago with the Halliburton loophole. You start looking at clean water and that kind of thing. So these people are doing their jobs, but they're limited. So it's up to us to go in and say that is important. We do want those standards there. We need those standards there. So that's going to take, sure, community members coming forth, but it's also going to take our local officials to say, yes, we do want that. Now, I was looking through, I see that you resurrected the...
Just so we don't get a misunderstanding, generally it's a 5-minute limit.
Okay.
Because we have a general meeting we're going through, but I don't want to diminish your opportunity to speak.
Well,
either.
thank you, so I'll just keep it brief.
Okay.
I see that you resurrected the Natural Gas Resource Center last June. I was wondering if that was in response to the community being made aware in June of the frac facility going in there. Okay, so that was just coincidental. All right, well, that is a great resource, and I've looked at that a lot. So keeping in mind the time, I won't go into the details with that. But I did also want to mention that I talked with you last week, Susan, the morning after the Borough Council meeting, excuse me, that you attended. And my problem was that I disagreed with what you were saying. I had students in Coudersport School, and you hadn't visited the school during that school year. You hadn't, made a presentation on the Arboretum, so.
It wasn't in the presentation.
Right, but I do have students in the school, and they have friends in the school who are very well aware of the Arboretum, and they don't view it as a park with swing sets and slides. They view it as a memorial to their grandparents and their loved ones. And I was surprised when you said that you were actually invited to be a speaker that night, because you weren't introduced as a speaker, but you said that you were invited to speak by Todd Hudson, who was in favor of selling the Arboretum.
He asked me, he called me,
Right.
and he said, because of your work and passion for Main Street,
Right.
and what you did with the Coudersport revitalization plan,
Right.
because we sort of oversaw that with the consulting firm. Would you come and speak tonight at our Borough Council meeting and give your views on the Arboretum?
Right.
So that's what I did.
But were you introduced as someone?
Why would
anybody
I-
say this is, you know, she was invited here to do that?
No,
Because it does
because
give an
I-
impression that as a commissioner, you could have been
I went-
attending as, you know,
I
Susan
didn't
Kifo or a
go as
person.
a commissioner. I went because he asked me to come.
Because
and
of your
speak.
roles as a commissioner.
No. The head of the Main Street Committee, I
So
went to.
as head of the Main Street Committee, is that a paid position?
No. I
That's
went
just-
to the Borough Council and asked permission to start a Main Street Committee.
Right.
It was under their permission. And
But
that's
do you
when
agree
we did
that
it.
anybody from the general public seeing you speak at that night would have certainly got the impression that you were in favor of selling the
I
Arboretum?
did give that impression because I was.
All right, well, just two more questions. Are you in favor of selling the Arboretum, Doug?
I have no part to play in it.
Paul?
It's a borough.
Are you in favor of selling the Arboretum?
I'm in favor of having those decisions made by people who have the authority and responsibility for it.
And that's what I said that night. I said ultimately, this decision rests with the Borough Council.
Right, but
But I
they
was asked
decided
to
to
give
not
my-
attend. You were invited to attend. I just think that the
was
public
asked-
needs to be more aware when you're serving in these capacities, why you're there. You know, because we recognize
I
you as a
said-
Potter County Commissioner.
My whole life has been, Mrs. DeCarlo,
What's
my
that?
whole life has been involved in community development. That's what I do. That's what I know.
Okay,
So I brought that knowledge to the meeting and gave my opinion.
okay,
At that time I said, this is my opinion.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Stay engaged. All right. Anyone else? If not, we'll move forward with the meeting. And I anticipate everybody else is here for the next part of this. I have several proclamations and minutes